Hello, everyone. Babula and I are with you again with another episode of Astrology Now. And in this episode, we're talking about the incredibly powerful new moon at a critical degree in astrology that is, it's a pivotal point in PowerPoint for humanity, isn't it, Babula?
It really is. I mean, this, there's always an Aries new moon every year, but this one is surrounded by some other major planetary shifts and events going on. So yeah, it's pretty charged. It's a strong one.
Yeah.
Mm.
So stay with us and we'll be back soon to talk more about that. Here we are with the new moon in Aries, and there's a lot going on around it, isn't it? And there's a lot in air, a lot of planets and asteroids in Aries at the moment, aren't there, Babula?
Yes, there's quite a gathering in the sign of Aries, and of course the lead up to the new moon. I mean, this, yes.
The delivery guy was just laughing into my room here. Sorry. Yes, go and start again. Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, so even the lead up to this new moon, the whole of March, of course, as we've been speaking about, has already been very significant. And a lot of people are finding themselves, struggling, not everybody, but struggling a bit, tired. I'm just hearing, if I post something online or I'm chatting with people, I'm just hearing so many people saying, I'm so tired, I'm over it, I'm exhausted, I don't know how much more of this I can take. I've injured myself as I've injured myself, so not everyone's feeling that.
No.
But a lot of people are.
Yeah.
And I just think there's a real need for people just to rest as much as is available to them, rest and take it easy.
Yeah. So it's like people have been operating on pure adrenaline. I mean, and I wonder how much of that is Mars in Gemini as well, keeping people very busy and occupied,
Yep.
But this, the Aries energy is naturally impulsive, and it's a bit of a hair trigger energy too that can lead to aggressive outbursts that are driven by instincts, rather than reason, so there's no holding back here, is there?
That's right. And at the same time, there's Saturn in Pisces. So there's what's happening for us all in March is that there's so many important shifts happening, and they're all really different.
Yeah.
With lots of different energies moving one after another, and that can leave many people just feeling completely overwhelmed, bewildered, a bit disoriented, like what's going on, because things keep changing day after day after day. Yeah, and it is a lot. So I think we have to draw on all the skills and tools that we have available to us, to just be as present as possible, stay as relaxed as possible, stay as open, grounded, rest when we need to, couch therapy, absolutely, and just deal with things as they come up, and just, Pisces, the chill factor, if we can remain as chilled as possible through it all. I know it's a big ask when there's lots of things moving, but yeah, I think we just have to try and be really kind to ourselves during all of this very tumultuous changes of energy.
Well, you know what I say to that? I say, good luck.
That's right. We do our best.
This is powerful energy, and it's it's really powerful, and it's explosive, and it can be explosive in a good way, or it can be, it's risk-taking, which could be in a good way too, like
that's right.
There's a lot of things that are going on, but my concern is about what's happening on the world stage, and Aries has this, when triggered, this impulse to go to war.
That's right.
It's a very warlike sort of energy, energetic, but rash, impetuous, sort of, impatient, competitive, so there's a lot going on the world stage with different countries that there's this feeling of there's a possibility of things going out of control, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it feels like it could happen at any moment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so some individuals will be feeling that. They'll be feeling easily triggered and easily reactive with all of this Aries energy. And of course, in the lead up to the new moon, you know, we've been having a Jupiter Chiron conjunction, right? And so Jupiter expands whatever energy it's moving through or touching or affecting, and Chiron is the wounded healer archetype. So there's so much in that, you know, we could spend a few hours just unwrapping that one.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I injured my knee the very evening, like within an hour of Saturn moving into Pisces. And I've been limping. I've been feeling a bit lame. Well, Chiron in the myth, in the story, was lame. And it was an injury that he couldn't heal because it came from a poison, but and there was no antidote. But I've experienced that before in a Chiron transit. You know, once years ago, I injured my foot, and there was that feeling, and it took a long time to heal, but there was a deep lesson in it. And once I got the message, finally, my foot began to heal. So, you know, Aries is often in the body, an energy where we can have injuries.
Yes, yes.
You know, thankfully I didn't go down and I didn't break a bone, but, you know, caused some significant problem. It was very painful and very hard to walk. It's now improving and it will improve. But so that's one issue, you know, and Aries wants to just go, go, go. And I'm a bit of a go, go, go girl.
Yeah.
Well, I just can't. I just, you know, I'm limping around. I'm moving really slowly. And there's just some things I just can't do.
Yeah. That'd be frustrating for sure.
Yeah. So the pause button has been hit. And
yeah.
So,
but Chiron is also a warrior energy too, isn't it? Even though you get a wound, it was a warrior.
Absolutely.
So you've got that Jupiter and Chiron new moon in Aries on the autumn equinox, which is
that's right,
in the last degree of first degree. What am I saying?
First degree of Aries.
Yes, first degree. So there's a whole lot going on. Like you say, many, many, many layers.
Many layers, many different energies. And of course, at its best, Aries is the sacred warrior, you know, who will stand his ground and fight and protect and fight for the good and so on. It's also the sign of birthing the new.
Yes.
You know, stepping into something new and moving forward, because Pisces, the sign before it, is all about emptying out and releasing and completing. And just on that briefly, while Saturn's now in Pisces for the next year, I think a big part of that is going to be individually and collectively a kind of karmic reckoning. You know, just really releasing a lot of old karma on the planet, big picture, but also individually.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then after that, of course, as then Saturn eventually goes into Aries, there will be this capacity for us to move forward, you know, having relinquished, let go, surrendered a lot. So yes, we're in this kind of place right now where there's strong things going on in Pisces. It's all watery and feeling and intuition and sadness and releasing and letting go. And all this energy in Aries, like, let's go. Right? And they're two signs that sit next to each other. And in the zodiac, all the signs that sit next to each other are always completely different energies. So it is a bit complicated.
It is. And I'm going to leave it for you to disentangle, because you know a lot more than I do. But I just wanted to point out that I hosted a collage workshop. Was it last weekend? Gosh, the time.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
And this card behind me, which is the Ayurveda, which is the white elephant, which is in the first chakra. as well as many other gods and goddesses, but representing the first chakra, which is where we ground down into the earth. And you arrived limping. It was like, what is that about? You know? Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to show the card? It's a beautiful, wonderful, wonderful card that you created.
Yeah. Oops. There we go.
It's fabulous. And of course, the color red is the base chakra. It's also the color of Aries, of course.
Yes, yes. And, you know, in the first chakra, there's Mars and Saturn.
That's right.
You know, so we're talking about a lot of first chakra stuff, worldly stuff as well.
That's right.
Because I do find Aries in its purest form is very worldly.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I've met people who are Aries. They're very worldly people. I know that, but that's just the pure energy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they certainly get very engaged with life.
Yes.
You know, they dive right in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their head's not up in the clouds. It's
yes. Well, they have amazing ideas. They're always coming up with new ideas. Oh, I've got a great, and they often have ideas. They're very entrepreneurial.
Yes.
And they often have ideas for other people, like, oh, I've got a great idea you could do, and they get really excited. And then it's kind of up to you to pick it up and follow. Or they have a great idea and they start something. If they're wise, they'll have an earth sign come in behind them and help them complete it, because they'll moved on to the next thing before that project is complete.
Yes, they're starters, non-finishers, I'm afraid.
Always about initiating.
Like the marathon runner, isn't it? Like, boom, that's it. All the energy's petered out now. Next.
That's right. Yeah. I'm all about the new.
Yes, yeah.
And so on
that point, I was going to say, on that point, you know, this is a time where there's an opportunity to birth a new earth.
Exactly.
Yes. But I'll let you carry on.
Exactly. Beautiful. Yes. So on the 19th, as a lead up to this equinox, new moon, Aries energy, Mercury will leave Pisces. So as we're speaking right now, Mercury is still in Pisces, moving fairly quickly through the sign. And that's one of the contributing factors to why people are just feeling a bit mentally confused and overwhelmed, and it's all too much and I can't think straight. Mercury will go in the afternoon of the 19th into Aries, right? Just kind of leading the way, if you like, ahead of the sun. And then on Tuesday, the 21st, the sun will move into Aries, and it will be, when it's at 0 degrees and 0 minutes, that's a precise moment of the equinox. For us in the Antipodes, of course, it's autumn. It's in terms of the turning of the wheel on the sun's journey, annual journey, it is the moment of the equinox. We here in Brisbane in the subtropics, we don't really experience autumn. We get like a short time of autumn when there's a slight change in the air, but even right now, it's actually hot again.
During the day, early morning, it's cool.
Yes, it is. You can feel a shift, a subtle shift. That's right. So the equinox, of course, is a very important point. The two equinoxes, an equinox equal. It's when the day and night, of course, are at absolute equal length, because the sun is literally sitting on the equator. I'll call the celestial equator. If you take the Earth's equator and just project it out into space. So the sun's literally sitting on the equator right at the midpoint on its journey. It's been like in our southern hemisphere at the summer solstice, the sun was as far south as it would get. So everyone south of the equator is having summer. And then at the solstice, it turned, and now it's about to hit that midpoint at the equator and make its way into the north. So in the northern hemisphere, of course, they're all excited because spring's coming.
Yeah.
And some parts of the northern hemisphere have had very, very heavy winter.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
You know, the further north or south you go of the equator, the seasons are more extreme and more pronounced. So the equinox is a very important point. It is a gateway. It is a turning point. It's a significant moment. And what's interesting about this one is that this equinox is occurring in the dark of the moon. You know, the moon is at the very last day of the Pisces lunar cycle. And so the dark of the moon is always a time of rest and withdrawal and quiet. But then, and so the equinox on the 21st in the morning, on the 22nd in the afternoon, we have the new moon at 0 degrees and 49 minutes of Aries. So the sun's still at 0, but it's, you know, moving through 0 to almost get to 1, when the sun and the moon are exactly together. So an Aries new moon on the Aries equinox, you know, within 24 hours of each other, that's a pretty big, and I will use the word portal or gateway, and a moment of something new. Yeah. This new burst of energy. And of course, in the north in spring, you know, it's when even in the snow, you'll see little flowers just push up through the snow as like an expression of new life. That's the Aries energy. And of course, where this sits in everyone's chart, it depends on which area of their life they might be experiencing this energy. A lot of people like to do rituals around these important solstice and equinox points,
which I will be doing.
Beautiful, to really honor and mark and you know, really bring awareness to that moment. It's an important moment. So we're coming into a stronger Aries phase. Of course, Neptune and Saturn will now remain in Pisces for the next few years, but in terms of the faster moving planet, a lot of people, I know this from experience, do find the Pisces energy difficult, because everyone just feels like, a lot of people feel like, what's wrong with me? I'm so tired, I'm exhausted, I'm over it, I'm getting sick, or, you know, it can be all sorts of things like that. And for a lot of people, it feels like a relief when planets move into Aries, because it feels like new energy's coming. But of course, at the equinox and new moon, it's just the start of a new phase. It's not like all of a sudden everything will happen. It's just that, like a baby being born, is that moment of 0 Aries, it's born, and now a whole new journey begins.
I wonder where it's going to go.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. So that then is the prelude, of course, to the big event, the big event.
Yes, with
on the 23rd of Lord Pluto, the Lord of the underworld, the great destroyer, and transformer, will step out of Capricorn and enter the sign of Aquarius. Now, you know, he's been in Capricorn since 2008, so this is no small thing. You know, it's a big deal. It isn't in itself meaning that everything's suddenly going to change, because it's only going to get to 1/3 of a degree of Aquarius. You know, and then it will turn retrograde. I made a note on May the 2nd at 0 degrees and 21 minutes. So it's only there for a brief window of a couple of months. It doesn't even get past 0. But it's a window, it's a glimpse. And it won't be until the end of December 2024 that Pluto has finally left Capricorn for 250 years. So, you know, that's going to feel like, wow. You know, there's a meme that goes around every now and then, like, whoa, I survived Pluto and Capricorn, and it feels a bit like that.
It was a journey, that's for sure.
Oh, it's been a big journey. So we're going to get a glimpse, and I think it's very interesting. You know, a lot of people are excited. They think that's it. You know, we're into this whole new paradigm now. Everything's going to be great. And no, I wouldn't be just jumping to conclusions about that. Pluto's got a long journey, a 20-year journey to make through the sign of Aquarius, and that will dredge up all kinds of stuff. But it's most decidedly a big shift into something very new and potentially very exciting and beautiful.
Well, it'd be nice to have a break from, not that we're going to have a break, it's going to be different, but a shift away from that cosmic rack that we've been stuck on for
that's right
the last, 2-3 years. That's been really difficult.
Yes.
I see this as a bit different. There's a different sense of energy to it. It's going to be powerful, but it's
Yes.
going to be
Very different.
very different sense. I don't even know how to explain it. How would you
No.
explain the shift in the energy?
Well, Capricorn is Earth. It's ruled by
Mm.
Saturn, and it has a heavy, dense kind of a quality.
Mm.
And the shadow energy of Capricorn, of course, is, controlling everything from the top, and absolute total Pluto and Capricorn, absolute total control.
Mm.
Right. And it is heavy, it's heavy rules, heavy regulations, heavy restrictions, and total control. That's the most negative expression of it. And it's very real. It's what's happening on the planet right now as we speak.
Mm.
It has been going on for a long time, but now it's in our face. The shift into Aquarius is an air sign. So it has not such a heavy, dense kind of a quality. And it's about, instead of, one ruler at the top or a very, very, very small group controlling everything, it's more, see, Aquarius is a sign of equality.
Yes, yeah.
Humanity, the people with a capital P.
Mm.
And revolution and change and awakening of a higher consciousness, of intelligence, of revelation of truth, of shining the light.
Yeah, yeah.
And even though Pluto is the lord of the underworld, he's got a whole new piece of work to do in the sign of Aquarius. It's going to look very different. And I'm running a workshop on the 2nd of April here for a whole day at home here in Brisbane, and we'll really unpack that, because part of what we have to address is what's the shadow side of Aquarius.
Yeah, it's there.
Because Pluto's going to expose that to us. So,
Yeah.
it's all kinds of issues around technology, community, tribe, people, friends, intelligence, consciousness, the cosmos, the universe.
Yeah, galactic stuff.
Galactic.
Yeah, scientific breakthroughs.
Yes. And
new tech.
and beings from other dimensions.
Yeah.
All of that is going to be coming to the fore in a major, major way. But at its best, it's about the empowerment of the people.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was going to say, it's like we're going to see the increasing deconstruction of the old order to a gradual shift to more equal society where all people have equal rights and opportunities.
That's
I mean,
right.
we still have women in the Western world who aren't being paid equally to men.
That's right.
Those sorts of things, so equal opportunity employment. There are some companies who'll do that, but there's still people who aren't, still women who aren't equally paid, and just different things like that. So
it will impact everything.
Yeah.
And we are told we live in a democracy. No, not really. It's all manipulated. No, it's all manipulated,
Yes, exactly.
And controlled in all kinds of ways. So, at its heart, Aquarius is about like a true democratic sense. But humanity also has to mature and awaken to be able to create a new earth and a new world, and run our lives on this planet together in a very, very, very different way.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be a big job for Pluto, that whole 20 to 22 years that he's in this sign, to clean out, all the stuff that's in the way of that.
That is going to take some intelligence, some foresight, some overarching understanding of what a society needs, what builds a good society, all those sorts of things,
So and people working together.
Yeah, so there's going to be this fundamental shift in our social and political structure, basically.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
I mean, the birth chart of the United States is very, very interesting. And it clearly shows the Aquarian energy in the chart, on which Americans speak about the founding fathers created the Constitution, which is now just being overridden and completely ignored. And it's all about that. It's all about the rights of the people and liberty and truth and freedom. It was built on those principles, you know, so that's why it's so important what's going on in America as it's going through its Pluto return at the end of Capricorn.
Yes.
It's very important because it represents so much of what is possible in the world, but what's actually going on now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's
a lot.
There's a lot. And I just think it's going to be very fascinating for us. And isn't it interesting that, you know, straight after the new moon and the equinox, Pluto changes sign. So I would just be, you know, for people who like to follow these things, you know, just really be watching and paying attention and noticing, you know, what we're experiencing energetically in ourselves, in our life, in our families, around us, and on the world stage. I'm starting to make notes, actually, but I'm just aware that so much is happening. I'm starting to keep a little just simple track of any major things that get my attention, writing down the date and what was happening with the planets, because I think we're going to see a lot. So it's exciting, it's intense. And I even wrote down the time, you know, 10:15 p.m. Brisbane time on the 23rd.
Yes.
It's a Thursday. Pluto will be at 0 degrees and 0 minutes of Aquarius.
Right. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to put that one in my calendar.
I think so. I'll just be, and then over those, you know, coming days and weeks, and well, all through to early May but even when it turns retrograde, it'll still be at 0 Aquarius until it actually goes back into Capricorn, I think by the end of May, or I think it's into June. So yeah, just paying attention. I'll be paying attention. I'm curious. I'm so curious about it.
I think for me, I hope that this sees a shift towards humanity becoming an advanced civilization. But when I think about that, when I break it down, I think, well, what does an advanced civilization actually look like? You know, right. How does the political structure work? Is there political structure? Is there financial structure? You know, do people work the same, or do they, you know, work 2 days a week and have 5 days off to pursue things that are very much more important than just menial tasks? And yeah, what's going to happen? You know, I'm probably won't be around to see a lot of that, but I hope I'll be around the next 20 years anyway. But
me too. I want to see what happens.
Yeah, this is a major thing, and it's not going to happen overnight, like you say.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
So, but certainly in the next 3 years, like to the end of 2025 and into 26, there's a lot of big planetary shifts, all happening sequentially, you know, one after another, and this is one of them. And that's certainly, and many, you know, prophets and so on from different traditions have been speaking about, you know, by the end of 2025, things will have changed a great deal and we'll be in a very different place. And certainly looking at the movement of planets, that really fits. Yeah. And so Pluto is playing for sure a very important role in that. And, you know, this theme of forming communities that are bypassing the old way of doing things and the old systems of control. I mean, it's already happening, isn't it? It's happening everywhere.
We're finding ways around things.
That's right. Finding ways around things, bypassing, forming tribes and groups to, you know, just stay aware of all these things and sharing information and ideas and people coming together. Yeah. Yeah. So just as a little note as well, on the same day, on the 23rd, Ceres, the largest and most important of the asteroids, she is the great mother goddess, Ceres. She's been in Libra for quite a while, traveling retrograde. She's going to retrograde back into Virgo for a while. And I think that's really significant because Ceres has a lot to do with agriculture and the production of food. She was the great mother, you know, who ensured the fertility of the land and the people and oversaw the crops and so on. And she's usually depicted holding a sheath of wheat, right? Virgo has so much to do with the earth and plants and production of food and healing herbs and medicine and so on from the earth. And I think, you know, there's a lot going on in that realm, a lot going on around food security and food production and so on. So that's just another one little piece, you know, to be looking at.
Yeah.
But on the same day as Pluto goes into, by the way, because Pluto goes into Aquarius on the evening of the 23rd, the lead up, even now, you know, he's sitting right at 29 degrees. It's always extra potent.
Yes. Yeah.
So Pluto's very, very strong right now at that final degree before he just goes, okay, and moves into.
Yeah. You know, I was very heartened. I was watching another astrologer and was talking about the asteroid Manwe conjuncting the moon too. And apparently Manwe is dedicated to light over dark and operates beyond the dimensions of time and space. I thought, light over dark. Yes.
Light over dark. Yes, that's right.
I love it. I really must dig deeper into asteroids.
Well, Manwe isn't technically an asteroid. There's this whole group of bodies that have been discovered in the last 2 decades or so that are out in what's called the Kuiper belt, way out beyond Pluto.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And years ago, it's still a very new field of study in astrology. Years ago, I did a workshop on some of the ones that had already been discovered, and I've been thinking about that. I might do another one and I'm no expert on it, but there's a few astrologers who've been working with them. But I'd quite like to introduce them and bring our awareness to them, because many are saying they represent the new energy and the new paradigm and the new age, you know, those energies coming in of the new.
Yeah.
You know, in a more sort of galactic, cosmic sort of way.
Yeah, well, you know, astrology is going to go through its own powerful transformation too, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It certainly is. And things like electricity and power supplies and lots of things. And then on the 25th, so there's this packed week or 5 days or so from the 21st to the 25th, when it's just the solstice, the new moon, Pluto, and then on the 25th, Mars, who has been in Gemini for 7 months, do his long 10-week retrograde phase in Mars, really agitating and stirring up that Gemini mind energy a lot, and issues around communication and misinformation and disinformation and all that kind of stuff, will leave Gemini and sit at 0 degrees of Cancer. We'll have Saturn at 0 of Pisces, Pluto at 0 of Aquarius, and Mars. I normally wouldn't, you know, make a really big deal of Mars changing sign, because normally he does that every 6 weeks. But because he's been in the sign for 7 months and it impacted us all, really stimulated our minds and issues around information, it's going to move into the water sign of Cancer, which feels like Mars can take a break a bit. You know, he can, like, time to go home, Mars, and take your boots and your shield, put them down, put your sword down and take a break and, you know, have a nice cup of tea and a nice meal and just chill for a while.
Well, you know, the first thing that popped into my mind was lots of pregnancies.
Could be, absolutely.
Lots of pregnancies, you know, a whole new generational thing is coming in now.
Yes. So, of course, Mars can take his warrior energy then into the home front, into our personal world. It might stir up things in the kitchen.
Yes, popping out those kids. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember years ago, I used to know this young man. I knew the family and I used to visit and so on. And he had Mars in Cancer. And he liked to cook. And I remember his mum said, when he's cooking, everyone has to, he was also an Aries with Mars in Cancer. When he's cooking in the kitchen, everyone has to stay out, like he's the boss of the kitchen. It's very Mars in Cancer. I'm in charge. Don't tell me how to do it. I'll do it my way.
Yeah.
And I thought, what a great analogy, for Mars, the warrior,
Yes.
on the home front.
Yeah. Interesting, isn't it?
At best too, Mars in Cancer can be the warrior who stands and fights and protects his home and his family and his children.
Yes. Yeah.
And the mother.
Yeah.
So, but it's a very different energy to Cancer. I think it'll be helpful. That mental energy should be a bit calmer.
Yes, because Cancer is very soft, isn't it? It's
nurturing,
receptive, and nurturing. That's what I'm thinking. Receptive, lots of pregnancies.
I love it. That's great. That's true. That's right.
Absolutely.
That's
I don't know why my mind went there first.
No, but it is. It's Cancer and Taurus are the two really, really fertile signs.
Yeah.
Cancer's ruled by the moon. The moon's got everything to do with a woman's fertility cycle.
And it might also have to do with people getting Cancerians getting a bit busier around the home front.
That's right.
Like active in their garden and more cooking and fussing around the family more and all those sorts of things, which Cancer does.
Exactly. And I think in general we might find ourselves wanting to make decisions about, okay, we need to take some action on this issue at home.
Yes.
Or make some decisions about, issues around food or all sorts of things. It's more personal. It's a really personal sign. It's not such a social outgoing sign as Gemini.
Yeah. I can just see my daughter, who's a Cancer, going, okay, what's happening with building my house?
That's yes.
And
wanting to push the builders to get on with it.
Hurry up, TikTok.
I need my home.
Yes, exactly. Wants to nest badly.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, maybe you're thinking about babies because of your daughter.
No, I wasn't actually, but I was just thinking about the sign. But she doesn't want to have children. But the whole point is accidents happen. Number one, and number two. But they're starting to build a home. So, and I think she's getting a bit impatient about it all.
Yes, for sure. Well, Mars will certainly kind of stir that pot a bit. For sure.
Yeah.
But it's just a really different. And again, when these things happen, that of note to me astrologically, I like to pay attention to, what am I seeing? What am I feeling? What am I experiencing with this change? Yeah, so that those few days are really big, and it's another one of those moments of, we'll get to the end of the year and look back and remember March. I remember March. I remember what was going on in March.
I remember March 3 years ago when all the restrictions came in.
Indeed.
Or started to come in. Yeah. Things
That's
just quit.
Right.
Yeah. So I understand what you're saying then.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing, of course, is that Mars will also make what we call a quincunx aspect to the Pluto, because they're both at 0 degrees. So it's just like an alignment. So Mars, as it goes into Cancer, there's quite a strong energy connected to it. And I wouldn't be surprised even if over those few days we'll see some significant events taking place on the world stage. And I mean, I'm just thinking, America is a Cancerian country. Their sun is in the sign of Cancer.
Interesting, eh?
Yes, and our sense of our country being our homeland, that sort of idea.
Yeah.
And Mars in Cancer could be issues around protecting, defending the homeland in some way.
Yeah.
And it's an emotional thing.
Yeah. They're really taking a hit, United States.
Yes.
Really taking a hit, yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then on the 27th, Mercury will be conjunct Chiron. So there's been this, as Jupiter's been building up to make the exact conjunction with Chiron, which has just happened, one by one, the Sun, Mercury, the faster moving planets will come through as well. And so on the 27th, Mercury will make a conjunction with Chiron at 15 degrees of Aries. And then the following day, Mercury will make the conjunction with Jupiter, which is slowly pulling away from the Chiron. So those last couple of days of the month will still have that kind of mercurial and chironic energy going on. Yeah, so, you know, issues around the body, illness, wounding, but also healing. You know, finding, you know, I often say to people, like, getting the right team of healers on your side, you know, finding your team. You know, I was just thinking about that after my knee injury and my wonderful osteopath, and thinking, I feel so grateful I've got this wonderful team of healers. You know, they're my team.
Yeah.
I can go to help support the body, particularly the older body, shall we say.
Well, there is transformation.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then as we leave March, the final, now this is interesting. On the 31st of March, there is an exact conjunction of Venus, now in Taurus, because she's moved into Taurus on the 17th. She's going to make an exact conjunction with Uranus.
Yep.
Taurus is the money sign. Venus rules Taurus. Great time for grounding, gardening, anything to do with earth, nature. Venus in Taurus. Venus loves being in Taurus. Taking care of money matters. Really important. Uranus is now right in the middle of Taurus, 7-year journey through Taurus. Big issues around banking, money, finances, and how it's all incredibly unstable and changing daily.
Yeah.
And the whole issue with centralized digital banking, what do they call it? CDBC. It's coming. Well, they're endeavoring to bring it forth.
Yeah.
And I'm aware already that, to my knowledge, just in the last few days, 3 banks have crashed in the United States. And apparently it's quite a lot of very small local banks also the same. So Venus, ruler of Taurus and a money planet, you know, financial astrologers would really be highlighting Venus, making a conjunction with Uranus, you know, the great awakener and the planet of sudden shocks and shockwaves, at 16 degrees 44 Taurus. Yeah, I just want to bring that to people's attention. I think we need to be very alert.
Yeah.
And very aware of, you know, where our money is and what we're doing with it, and is it secure?
Yeah. Now, have I got this right? Is Venus also conjuncting the North Node in Taurus?
The North Node has been moving back through the sign of Taurus and is currently at 4 degrees.
Okay.
So earlier.
Okay.
So but somewhere in the middle of the month, or in the middle of the month, actually, and let me just look at the full moon chart. Sorry, the new moon chart, because the North Node is very close. Let me see. On the new moon, the North Node's at 4. Yeah, it's at 4 degrees at Taurus, conjunct Venus. So Venus is conjunct the North Node in those days leading up, you know, 19th, 20th, 21st. Absolutely. So this is already going on, isn't it? And then on the 31st, the last day of the month, she actually joins with Uranus.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So I think it's something that, you know, we need to be very conscious of and aware of and take into consideration.
Yeah. Yeah.
Many already have and are aware of this issue.
Yeah.
Many still won't be. I'm not predicting anything. I'm simply following the signs I'm seeing in the world and looking at the astrology and going, pay attention here.
Yes, you've been saying that for some months now. Like, you
know,
pay attention to your money. Make sure it's secure, that sort of
thing. Yes. And sometimes it's a fast-moving planet that can just hit something, bam, and the thing happens.
Yes, that's right.
It's like the trigger.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So yeah, we just need to be a little bit aware and watchful and alert, I think.
Mm.
And then as we go into April, the full moon is on April the 6th, sitting across the Libra. It'll be a full moon at 16 degrees of Libra opposite the sun, at 16 degrees of Aries, which will be very closely conjunct with Chiron. So Chiron's, because there's a lot of activity in Aries, Chiron's really being activated during this period.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah. One of the issues to do with Chiron and Aries during this whole 9-year period, and when the activations hit like this, is the issue related to males and men and male energy, testosterone, the inner warrior. There's a lot going on in that space too on the planet. And I'm seeing more and more posts on Facebook from men that I know who do embody the warrior energy and are willing to step up into that. And it's good when it comes from men. I'm seeing a few of them saying, come on, men, where are you? Can't you see what's going on? Like, step up. What are you doing?
Yes. And I've seen those posts from women, over the last few years of saying, well, where are all our heroes?
That's right.
So I'm hoping that they do step up.
Yes, hopefully. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So that's a part of all of this, and our own, relationship with the inner masculine and so on. And the courage to make often difficult choices. And, Aries asks us to have courage.
Yes. Yep. Have
And
courage,
be
take
bold.
action. Yeah. Be bold. Yeah. I would say with all this Aries energy though, like think before you speak.
Yeah.
Look before you leap. That's helpful reminders for the ultra powerful Aries energy.
Yeah. It can get really aggressive and really fired up. And
well, it's just impulsive, isn't it? It's just
that's
such
right.
an impulsive sign. Yeah.
That's right. I live with my 2 young grandchildren, and they both have Aries energy in them. And I'm just noticing of late they're getting a bit antsy with each other. They're not always, but every now and then there's a bit of a, someone's flaring up, and little bit of they're past the little toddler tantrum stage, but every now and then, I can go, oh, here it comes, someone's really upset and angry about something.
Yeah, let them sort it out.
Yeah, that's right, because there is Aries energy, really.
Don't want to get involved in that. And it really is that you're not the boss of me type of energy, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
Stop telling me what to do.
Yes, I'll do my own thing and I'll do it my way. And
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's great being around kids, and observing astrological energies playing out, because it is on full display.
Yeah.
Right in front of you.
Yeah. When it comes to countries' military, though, it's a whole nother story.
Oh, now we're talking about a whole other level. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, what's Australia just done? Signed a contract for all these new supposedly U-boat submarines. There's a lot going on there. And they'll never tell us the real story.
No.
About what that's actually about.
Yes. And there's allies working themselves out, and there's a whole lot of shifting going on there.
That's right. Yeah. Exactly. Positioning, countries positioning themselves, and yes, that side of things can get very ugly.
Well, I think I'm going to be watching a bit of mainstream news over the next couple of weeks, just to keep an eye on what's going on.
That's what I do. Every now and then I just tap in just to see what they're saying lately.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Yeah, what's going on? I've certainly seen a shift in mainstream news on the TV.
Yes.
I tend to look at, I like Sky News. I don't have shares or anything like that in
Sky
No,
that's right.
But I think it's a little bit more balanced, but that's my personal opinion. But there are other companies that produce news that have a balanced view as well. And I think you have to look over a whole lot of things and then try to figure out yourself.
That's right.
Is that right? Or does that feel right? I've talked about Does that make sense?
That's right.
Mm.
Because when you only get one side of a story and there's no room for discussion,
Yes, yes.
yeah, something's wrong there.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wow. So it's a big month. It's a big next 2 weeks because we've already had 2 weeks. Like, where did the time go?
I know.
I feel like we only did this like a few days ago.
I know. That's right. You know, that's another thing. I'm hearing a lot of people saying, like, what's going on with time?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, you know, it almost feels like you lose chunks of time in the day. Now, where did those 2 hours go?
Yes. Or what day is it? Friday again. What?
That's right. That's right.
But that's okay. It's that's it's still TikTok 1 second at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, well, thank you, Babula, for all that information. I'll just let it wash through my system and see how I feel about all that.
Yeah, and in the end, it's day by day, moment by moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so viewers, we hope that this helps you understand a little better about what's unfolding before us, and for collectively, and for you personally. And until next time, we'll be back with the full moon in Libra. So
right.
Until then, stay safe, stay alert, and watch your money.
Yes.
All right, until we talk next time. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.